And there we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Off the Post. I'm your host, Jen. And tonight we will be discussing week 4 of the NWSL. Before we do that, let's check in with our panel of one. Danielle, how you doing? What have you been up to since we talked last?
Just every day. Got back from Casey last weekend, going back this weekend. Busy on the road, living the dream.
So basically the same old stuff every time.
Absolutely. The same old stuff I say every single time.
Well, consistency is a good thing to have. All right, let's get into the action. First game, we have Chicago versus Houston. Chicago win. Chicago through 4 games, 2 wins at home, 2 losses on the road. Are they going to be another one of those great at home, blah on the road teams?
I think they might until they get just finish getting their chemistry going. It's a good atmosphere they have in Chicago, which definitely helps them out. Having local that close to them, so they get that home field advantage. I think they really just keep working on that chemistry, and I think they'll eventually become good on the road as well. And if JJ keeps scoring, or excuse me, Julie Ertz keeps scoring because she changes her name and becomes the leading goal scorer. That's cool. If she keeps up that leadership, I think they can be consistent both on the road and at home.
4 games in, did you expect Julie Ertz to be the leading goal scorer and Kristen Press to have more yellow cards than goals at this point?
Can I say yes, even if everyone a lie? No, I don't think
you can say whatever you want. You turn to talk.
No, nobody expected. JJ is. It's not that she has never scored before. She's really great on set pieces. She's a good player, but no, I don't think anyone expected her to be the leading scorer on the team and Pressy to have the most yellow cards. If you say that, you'd be a liar.
Yeah, you say that and go get some money. Because, that was completely unexpected. I mean, it's NWS law.
Lol.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a fairly interesting season so far. I mean, even though NWSL has had a history of delivering those things, this season is probably pretty up there in terms of craziness. Chicago did what they had to do. I mean, they pretty much controlled that game. Like I said, they've been a very strong team at home. I'd like to see them be a little stronger on the road, because they're gonna need more than just home results if they want to get back to the playoffs for the 3rd year. They're gonna need to start picking up points on the road. Are they playing at home?
Yes, they're playing Boston.
Oh, yeah, they're playing Boston. Yeah, they are playing Boston at home. So, I mean, we won't get to see them. Their next road game is against Carolina.
I've never heard of that team.
Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, Chicago, I think, is going to have to start once they get on the road, they're going to have to start picking up results. Same with Houston. They've had, 2 home games, 2 wins? No, they've had 1 home game and 1 win. They actually did get a result on the road against Washington. So they have gotten 4 points on the road, but I think they need to be a bit more consistent. You can't have this great one game and crap the next and expect to be in the top 4 at the end of the season. It was just one of those games where they didn't look like they were there. I mean, Ojai was a little subdued. Daly and Ojai spent more time defending in their own half than actually attacking. So that's not a good sign when 2 of your forwards are in your half most of the game. And poor Sarah Hagen, man. I mean, she finally gets a start. She's doing the best she can, and then that happens right at the stroke of halftime. yeah, just forgettable performance from Houston. Chicago, not super great. I mean, they had some issues, but they did what they had to do and they got the 3 points. So good for them. Now we're going to move to the game that was probably the most exciting, maybe not the best, but definitely the most exciting. Washington 4, Sky Blue 3. Is this the game that was probably the least likely to be a goal fest in your mind?
Absolutely. I mean, Washington has been, struggling. I don't think that's unfair to say. Sky Blue was without Rocky. They were, missing players. So I think if you looked at it on paper, you would get a low-scoring game, and then all of a sudden, wow, 4-3, which was crazy. So it's fun. It's entertaining. I'm not sure what it is about defense, especially Sky Blues, who you could see really needed Piercy in that back line. You could definitely tell she was gone. But yeah, goals.
Goals, all of the goals. Give me some more goals. There was defending in that game because I really didn't see any to be found. It was
in theory there was.
It was basically, I think they were having a contest to see who could defend worse. The Sky Blue won because they gave up 4 goals, and one of them was an own goal. We had one on every game on Saturday, which, again, if you predicted that,
you're a liar.
You're a liar, and we don't believe you. Another one of those surprising things from the season. Leading goal scorer in the NWSL, Sarah Killian. Another one of those, if you predicted that, you're a liar moments. Do you think Sky Blue is going to keep generating those penalty opportunities for her to get in, or will she fall back in the pack very soon?
I think that she'll keep it up for a while. I don't know if stay the leading scorer the whole season, but definitely helps with confidence, and I think confidence is everything in this game. So we'll see. It's so hard to make predictions because every week it's like, yeah, you thought. So I am saying that, maybe, possibly.
Maybe.
Chance.
I mean, we've seen penalties called for the biggest WTF moments, so why not? Yeah, from a fan perspective, from a neutral perspective, from the perspective of somebody who's more of a casual, who likes goals, this is the game for you. If you're the type of person who is more interested in the tactical and looking at teams from a tactical perspective, if you like defense, this isn't the game for you because both defenses were god awful. And I mean, Steph LeBay had to come up big once again, like she's done all season. Had that huge save on Kelly O'Hara in like the final minute of stoppage time to save that win. So, kudos for her. I think she has been one of the probably in top 2 or 3 keepers in the league. If not the best. I think that's a little up for debate. But and we have to mention Player of the Week, Francisco Ortega. I think she was involved in every goal, even the
all 4, because the 2 goals, assist, and she caused the own goal, basically. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, being involved in all 4 goals, by far the best, the most outstanding player of the week, no doubt about it. I think that was probably her best performance, not just this season, but in her entire NWSL career. I mean, she's had some goals before, she's had some good games, but she was absolutely outstanding in this game. No complaints whatsoever on her performance. Sky Blue, I get you anything. Christy Hawley is sitting there going, please, 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 Piercy, be healthy enough to play this weekend because we need you. So unfortunate to see her go out because that back line just got absolutely shredded.
I need him, though, to come up with a plan without her. I hate, no one wants to admit this, but she's 41. We need to come up with a defense without Piercy. And or they need to come up with a defense. They're not on team. They need to come up with that defense. So this is a perfect opportunity for Holly to find that back line. Because, you got to think that there has to be Sky Blue after Christy Pierce. So.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that I don't think she's going to play next year. So, I mean, this isn't a bad opportunity for him to look at some things for down the road. I have one question. Do you think Sky Blue should have maybe looked at getting a defender who has a bit more than is more than a rookie or has only 1 year of experience in the off season?
I mean, it wouldn't have hurt. I don't think that it was time to really go after the veteran this season. I think that this was a perfect opportunity to bring in those young players to help mold this season, But next season, definitely next off season, absolutely. Because I'm with you. I don't think she'll play next year. I think she might coach or, be involved with the team, but I don't think she'll play.
Yeah, and I mean, she's beaten Father Time pretty much, but it catches up to everybody, even somebody as seemingly ageless as her. So, it's got to be at least in the back of Christy Holly's mind. It's like, I am not going to have her forever. I have to figure something out.
My big thing was, they can't use the Piercy's out excuse. That's my big thing.
I mean, one game, it's just one of those freaky coincidences. They ran into a really fast forward, and none of them could keep up. So, yeah, good on Washington for finally getting that first win. Sky Blue, better luck next game. So let's go to the game that was, I think, the best from a soccer standpoint, the Cascadia Derby, Portland versus Seattle. How many times did you expect to see Jess Fishlock score a goal on both keepers?
I mean, yes. No, that was exciting, and good for her. Got to keep it fresh, keep it exciting. It's not Cascadia, things aren't weird and exciting, but I'm sure if anyone follows me or if you've heard me say it, I'm not a Seattle fan. I was at all. I do not like Seattle at all. But man, that Fishlock goal was a thing of beauty, and I loved it. And for me to say that I loved it and it was one of my favorite goals of the season, that's saying something. And her own goal was a really beautiful goal as well. I just thought how she slid right into it. The form was fantastic. So good for her.
Yeah, it was one of those moments that, I mean, she's usually so smart when she's on the field, even if she does have her moments of shall we say controlled road rage, maybe the best way to put it, because she can get a little feisty, but she's usually very smart about how she uses that controlled rage, and it was just one of those moments where I think she saw a bit of red and was going on instinct, went to clear it, which she had to do because she had two Portland attackers lurking. She couldn't just let it go, and it just hit wrong and went past Kottmeyer, and you saw her reaction afterwards, like, crap, I just scored an own goal in my biggest rival's yard. It's just Allie Long getting the second equalizer. How much did that hurt?
Seattle fans probably a lot. It's Allie Long. Unless you're a Portland fan, I think that just me saying it's Allie Long, you know what I mean. So it's like that extra little knife. But for Portland fans, I think it was perfect to be Allie Long. I mean, it had to be Allie Long. And one thing about Allie is she's a great club player. She is a great club player, and I think she really showed why she's kind of the leader on that team with that goal. You know, coming through at the end, near the end, and getting the goal, getting the equalizer.
And now let's talk about the elephant in the room.
That's not nice to call me.
Oh, don't ever change. We had an incident in the second half of this game.
Oh, that one.
Merritt Mathias and Emily Sonnet got a little, and we have video clip of Merritt Mathias yanking on Emily Sonnet's hair a week after she had been caught yanking on Alicia Chapman's hair. And today the disciplinary committee has said, that's not cool. You're sitting for 3 games. Do you think the 3-game suspension was because she had already been hit once last season? Do you think it was for a combination of both that and what she did to Chapman? Do you think the league should have stepped in after the thing with Chapman? What's your assessment on that?
I think they should have stepped in after Chapman. I think that there's no place for hair pulling, especially with her history of, I'm trying to think of a really nice word, overreactions. So yeah, they probably should have last week, but I definitely do think it was a combination of not only against what happened with Sonnet, but Chappie, and last season. I mean, the fact that it's now her 3rd real incident of, you know, unexcusable behavior, definitely had to say. And we were talking before the show, I believe this is the longest penalty that's been handed out in this league. I think that 3 doesn't sound a lot, especially for people who are used to leagues where you get 5 a lot. But I think for the NWSL and, you know, where it's been previously, I think it's a good amount, and hopefully she'll learn her lesson. And I'm hoping Laura Harvey steps in and says, hey, this is unacceptable. This is 4 games now that we've been without you in the last 2 seasons because of your temper, and it's unexcusable. And I'm trying to be nice because I definitely have a lot of feelings about Merritt. She was, you know, she was on my team for a season, and I liked her well enough that season. But then, you know, stomping on Shea Groom and pushing her right in front of me last season definitely has made it so I can't talk about her without some anger coming out. So I will stop now.
Yeah, I think this is a thing where I'm not so sure that because there's a pattern, there's a history of behavior. I'm not so sure that that's something that she is going to stop on her own. You know, she's going to need somebody to step in. If whether or not it's a disco saying you got to sit 3 games, or you know, maybe Laura, if it happens again, maybe Laura Harvey might say, "This you're killing us. Go to the bench. I'll figure something out without you." Which you know, she has 3 games now to figure out how she's going to figure out her lineup without Merritt Mathias. And if it works, if I were Merritt Mathias and I see my team doing well without me, I would be a little worried that they figured it out without me, and you know, I might not have a starting spot when I am cleared to play. So, yeah, Merritt, cut it out. That kind of crap has no room in professional sports. That is crap you see on the kindergarten field. Cut it out. This isn't a kindergarten. This is a professional environment. Stop. You're better than that. You are not 5 years old. Ugh. Yeah.
Basically, if she loses her spot, she has nobody to blame for herself. Because if it was a one-time only thing, okay, but she loses her spot, it's her own damn fault.
But yeah, it's just one incident right after the other. It's just quit. And the fact that she keeps giving up penalties. I think she's given up 3 or 4 now. yeah, if I were Harvey, I'd be looking at this going, maybe having Merritt Mathias isn't the best move. Maybe I should think about going somewhere else down the line.
She's very talented. I will say that. She's a talented player, but that doesn't mean crap if you can't keep your attitude in check.
Like certain other players in this league have been accused of doing. Not naming any names. Chess Fishlock, Smoke Culture Brody.
I mean, unless you're in the EPL and make millions and millions of dollars, and maybe you can get away with it, but maybe not. I mean, not even the MLS you can get away with that. So
I don't know. Their disciplinary committee has come down pretty hard on some guys. So anyway, I think we've beaten the Merritt Mathias horse to death. So yeah, it was good on Portland for coming back twice. Seattle, you had the lead twice and you let it slip away, and you could have had 3 points. You only come away with one. This is not I think they needed a win to get themselves back on track after the thrashing they had in Boston. So, we'll see if they can turn it around on Saturday. I kind of hope not, but whatever. Moving on. Battle of the top two from last week. Boston hosting North Carolina. North Carolina, 4 games, 4 wins, leading the table by 5 points. Objectively, looking at each team, is there a team in your mind that you think could be the first one to beat North Carolina?
I think at the risk of sounding very cliche, and I know this will, and please direct all of your hate mail to me because I've realized this, I think any team could on any given day. This league is weird. This league's really weird. I think that it all depends on circumstance. It all depends on which way the wind blew that day. It's going to be tough for anyone to beat North Carolina, but I think that I think it can be done. I don't know. It's a cop out because I don't know which team I feel the most confident and has the best chance. But I know that we watched, Seattle thrash a team and then lose by a bunch. So it's a weird league, and we don't have that. I mean, since we're bringing up Boston, you don't have that Boston this season that you're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Cop out.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I will say this. Carolina is not going out and blowing out every team that they face. I mean, they have won 3 of their games 1-0, and the third was 3-1. So they're not just lighting up these teams. I think they could probably be lighting up these teams, but the finishing is still a little, yeah, pretty much the same story that was at the start of last season. Only this season they're getting the results. That's probably been my biggest complaint, is that the finishing needs to start getting better, because other teams' finishing is going to get better, and the defensively, they kind of worry me a little bit. I mean, they had some really shaky moments against Boston, but in that time, Sabrina D'Angelo was there to build them out. But that second half, man, Boston really, really took it to Carolina. Now, granted, it was that whole cliche of the wind at their backs. I mean, first half, Carolina was pretty much owning it because they had the wind at their back. And they got that goal off of a fluky set piece. Second half, I think Boston was the better team. I think they had more opportunities. They just couldn't get any shots on goal. But there were some moments where I seriously thought they were going to equalize, and I think it was just a case of their kind of lack of experience. I think because they do have a lot of young players, some of whom have maybe only played a season or are rookies, who maybe with a little more experience might have handled some of the situations a little bit better. But yeah, I think Boston kind of gave a bit of a blueprint for how to break that Carolina pressure. Is just boot it long. Now, granted, they were aided a bit by the winds, but Carolina couldn't really bring their typical high pressure because it was just bypassing the midfield. They weren't trying to play it out the back. They were just going long. So yeah, it was happy. I'm happy Carolina won. And speaking of the goal, is it fitting for the NWSL that it's a player who has now played on six? I mean, 6 teams if you count the Flash and the Courage as 2 separate teams.
She's had to move, so I count it.
I'm still torn. I mean,
it's a different team.
I mean, it's a different name, different city, but it's still basically the same roster. So if you want to consider it a continuation, whatever. But anyway, a player like Jess McDonald, who has played on now 6 different teams, being the all-time leading scorer for now, is that very fitting of the NWSL that it's someone like her that got to that mark first?
I think absolutely. I love Jess. She's a great player. The reason I consider it 6 separate teams is because she's had to move her family. So, going from Western New York down to Carolina, that's why I'll consider it the 6 separate teams. But yeah, the great thing about Jess is not only does she have that, and this is not, please Seattle fans don't get mad, but she didn't get that with all PKs like Kim Little, which nothing against Kim, it's still a goal, but Jess goes out there, works hard, and why I think it's fitting is that hard work is now getting her attention on that national team level. I think it's fitting, and I think it's good for the league.
Is it a little surprising to you that a player that has been very highly regarded recently, like Ashley Hatch, that she's only getting late game minutes as a sub to essentially waste time? I mean, what does it say about the courage and the roster they have that someone who is pretty highly regarded is basically being used just to waste
time? I mean, she's a rookie, so it makes sense from a tactical perspective. It shows that Paul Riley's done a good job building his roster. That you can have Ashley Hatch as a time waster, like that's pretty damn good. For her sake, I believe that it's one of those where it's still getting her game minutes and getting her ready, because just because you can be the best player in college doesn't mean it translates to the pros. So maybe he feels that her best development is that slowly but surely thing.
Oh, I know some teams that would absolutely kill to have a player like Ashley Hatch because they're hurting at forward. Looking at a certain someone's team here, no names being mentioned, but yeah. Is Boston as good as the record? Are they better or worse? Is the record a fair indication of how good they are as a team?
I think so. I got called crazy with my preseason prediction of putting them as a possible playoff team. But I think they are. They had a solid goalkeeper. I am just such an Abby Smith fan, so maybe that's my super fan bias coming through. They have that. They've been building it. They drafted better than I thought the day after the draft. After the draft, I was like, oh, that was shit. They got all those good forwards, but, where's their D? Where's this? Where's that? They're a good team. A really good team. And I think that it's an indication. Will they continue to be, the top? Who knows? But I think it's a good indication of their talent. I wrote in my notes, this isn't the Breakers of olden time. So.
Yeah, the 2016 Breakers are dead and buried, and long may they stay buried, because that team was god awful.
Except against my team, apparently, but that's cool.
That's just weird. I mean, it's like how can you be so bad against seemingly every other team and then do that? That was just weird.
It's cool. It's fine. I'm over it.
I need to see Boston get a good result on the road before I can say whether or not I think they'll be a playoff team. They've gotten 2 wins, but they played 3 out of their 4 games at home, and the 1 game on the road. It was the first game. They didn't look great. This is why it's probably going to be their upcoming road match is going to be one that I'm very interested in because I want to see if they can take that form that they've had at home and have it translate at least somewhat on the road. So I want to see them play a little bit away from home before I can kind of say whether or not I think they're going to be a playoff team. So, but yeah, Carolina just keeps on getting results. Boston, you really made me nervous. I thought there were some times where I thought you were going to get that equalizer and you didn't. Anyway, moving on. The one game I didn't get to see because it was at the same time as the Carolina game, the game you were at, Kansas City hosting Orlando. Have at it. Have your say.
Have at it. I thought it was a pretty even game from both. Not a lot of what's the words I used. It was hard fought. No goals in the first half. Second half is when they let Marta come through, and Marta got that goal. And I had moved over to the side. All I saw was her on the ground like this, and I was like, of course. You can't let Marta have that much space. But I think for the pretty much until then, FCKC did a pretty decent job of marking her. Bowen was on her. You have Becky Sauerbrunn. They controlled her a good amount. But then, it's Marta. What can you do? And then FC in the 80-something minute scored our first goal since A-Rod's goal in the first game, which hurts. When Timmy kind of that rebound scuffle after a free kick from Yaya, and the internet would lead you to believe that Timmy stabbed Ali Krieger and threw the ball at Ashlyn Harris's head. It's what I got from the internet. But it scored, and it was allowed. I thought it was pretty decent. Stuff happens in the box. Obviously, I'm very biased because my team scored. Stuff happens. Probably was a foul, but it's so. I was actually rewatching it today as I was preparing. It was so boom, boom, boom that I'm not surprised that the official missed the contact with Krieger in the box. That's soccer, boys and girls. It happens. It's not like they scored a goal that was definitely onside and it got called back against Sky Blue or anything. Not that I'm still bitter about that. But yeah, that's how the game works. I thought it was a decent effort from both. As a KC fan, I need more from this team. We can't use the excuse, oh man, A-Rod, that hurts. Yeah, it definitely hurts, but we need to figure out how to make it work because she's not coming back this season. She had that surgery. We won't see her till next season. Gotta get Shay and Sid up there and get those chances. Having Des back helps a lot. Des, makes moves in that midfield. If we can get Arlette healthy, if we can get the rest of our players healthy, I think this team can find chemistry. I think all 4 seasons have shown that this team really gets it together and finds chemistry at the end of the season. So we'll see what happens.
The Sid LaRue challenge on Steph Catley. I've heard some people say it maybe should have been a red card. Do you think a yellow was a fair call?
I think yellow was. It might have been a deep yellow. I don't know. Where does my bias end and begin? But I think it would have been a little harsh as a red, but I don't think it could have been, You can argue red, and I don't think you'd be wrong, but I think it would have been a little harsh.
Yeah, I like I said, I didn't get to see this game live, and I only really got to see a few highlights. But I saw that challenge, and I'm like, wow, she is very lucky she was not sent off for that, which would have sucked for KC, but they got a bit fortunate.
It would have been funny though if she would have got the red, and then Saturday both her and Dom would be out for their respective games.
Wait, Dom's out?
He got his 5th yellow of the season, so Dom is not going to play against Orlando. So that would have been a little funny, but I, as a fan of both KC teams, I can only handle one Dwyer out at a time.
Yeah, I think that would have been a bit ironic if we had Dom sitting out against Orlando City, and then Sid getting set off against Orlando Pride. That would have been the of irony.
Something about Orlando and those Dwyers.
Do you wouldn't happen to have a timetable on when you think Mandy Laddish might return to the lineup?
I don't know. I've been wondering. I know she had, I know she's been out, but she looks okay. I think they're definitely playing careful though. I don't think I've seen in any of the videos her working out, which leads me to believe we still have some ways to go. Yeah. I will say, and I put this on Twitter, and it's not official. I think we have some a decent name recently cut forward on our reserve/practice squad that I wouldn't be surprised got signed hopefully soon. I won't name names, but go on my Twitter, Stephanie Oaks. I saw her walk by, and I was like, hey, I know her. So Vladko, get that signed.
Is there a player that, just one more question, is there a player that has improved more from last season to this season than Lo LaBonta?
No, gosh. I think Lo is such a great pickup for our team. I think when we signed her last season, I was like, okay, cool. She's nice. Good to have another player. No, I think Lo she's killing it this season. She's been working hard. She's been such a vital part of this team. What a great pickup,
Yeah, her, and I think Brittany Ratcliffe has had some really good moments. She kind of struggled last season with Boston, but then again, who didn't struggle last season with Boston? That team was just bad. But yeah, from what I've gotten to see of her when she's come in for KC, I think she's been good. It was a decent pickup. I don't know how much time she'd get if that injury we shall not talk about hadn't happened, but it happened. It is what it is, and hopefully she gets a goal soon, because I really like when players get their first goal. I like when they get that thing off their back. It's like, I got one, maybe I can get more.
I think that was such a big part of Timmy being the one that scored for FCKC is I think for the last couple of seasons, everyone who's watched Casey has noticed that Timmy it seems like it's a confidence issue. And I didn't watch any of the W League, so you might know more than me with that. But I think she seems more of an emotional type player. And so for her to get that goal, especially the first goal since the opener, it was good to watch. I was really excited to see it was her. And I'm hoping this sparks something in her, because she hasn't been starting. She hasn't been producing. So if this is that spark and she becomes that Erica Timrak who got called up to national team games in the first couple seasons, we'll be good.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I didn't get to see it, but yeah, good for Kansas City for coming from behind to get a result, because that is something y'all have struggled with.
Rare. What a rarity.
I'll say it took until the middle of 2015 to actually get your first point after falling behind. And you didn't get your first come-from-behind win until late last season. So
Yep.
to get something that has not been a common sight in Kansas City has got to be at least a slight morale booster, if nothing else, because going scoreless 3 games in a row, I think would have been devastating. So
I think, yeah, the fans need it. I mean, yeah, you got, the supporter group who's going to be, there, rah, every game, but I think that the rest of the fans needed it. They needed okay, this is the KC that we know. This is the KC that won 2 titles and made the playoffs 3. This is our team. So I think it was a good morale booster for the team and the fans.
yeah, so good job, KC, Orlando. Dear God, can you please get a shutout sometime? Not this coming week, but sometime soon, because I think Ashlyn Harris's head will literally explode if you do not help her get a shutout within the next few weeks. I hope it's not this coming weekend, but maybe after that. But just not this weekend because you're playing the Courage. So that was week 4. Some pretty interesting results. Now it's time for our predictions. We're going to start with the Lifetime game, Houston versus Sky Blue. Danielle?
I have a 1-1 draw. Both teams, let's see, it is in Houston, if I'm correct. So I think Houston is going to at least get the 1 goal, playing decent at home, but I have a 1-1 draw.
Let me bring up my predictions. I
wrote it out. This is called procrastinating at your day job.
Oh, God,
Come up with a new one.
I can't find my predictions. I think Houston's going to take this one. It won't be a high scoring game again, but if Christy Pierce is out again, I think that backline is going to struggle again, and I think Houston's going to take this one. So I got Houston for now. Seattle hosting Washington.
I have a 2-1 Seattle. I think being at home will give Seattle that advantage. I think they need it to be a win. I really do. It's like you were saying earlier, especially after that blowout a couple games ago. I think they need the win at home, and I think they'll get it against Washington. But I think Washington's not going out with a fight. I think that they really, I think that win last week really inspired something. But yeah, I got Seattle just barely going through.
Yeah, I got Seattle as well. I think just because it's in Seattle and they do tend to play better at home. And Washington, we'll have to see if it was or if maybe they have turned things around. But right now, I think Seattle's got it. Kansas City hosting Portland. Do you have your Blues topping the Thorns?
In my heart, yes. I don't know. I went back and forth with this. I have a 1-1 draw. We haven't been scoring goals, so I just have a hard time saying that we're going to pull it out against a really talented team. I think the fact that Tobin's still out helps Kansas City. Sorry, Tobin fans. Sorry, Portland. That's not a knock. But her being out is beneficial to KC. I'm going to do it a draw. I think that was just the best I could do for myself as a prediction.
I also went with a 1-1 draw for 2 reasons. Portland is another team that has been kind of struggling a bit to get goals. I mean, this last game aside. But also, Kansas City has never once been shut out by Portland. In all the matches they have always managed to find the back of the net at least once. I mean, even last season when they had trouble scoring when they couldn't even score against Boston, they still managed to score in both games against Portland. So I don't see that stopping anytime soon. I think Kansas City will get at least one, but I also think Portland will get one. So
The original rivalry.
Probably that. It has been a pretty decent rivalry. So okay. We have Orlando hosting North Carolina, rematch from round 3.
I have Ashland get match. No, I have North Carolina winning 3-1. Sorry, Ashland, you're not going to be happy, but I think that. Oh, it's in Orlando, but
Yes, in Orlando.
I still feel pretty solid with my prediction. I don't know, just something with Orlando, considering the talent on that roster, the fact that they haven't won makes me wonder what's going on. That's why, North Carolina 3-1.
I got North Carolina 1-0. And unlike last year on that date, because Orlando hosted the Flash last year on May 14th, and they won that game. Unlike last year, I think they're going to be on the losing end, but I'm going 1-0. I think Carolina needs to prove that it can score more than one goal per game. I think they need to start finding their shooting boots. I think they need to be more efficient with their shooting. That has been the one thing that has been bothering me, is how inefficient they are. They create a lot of chances but can't put many of them away. So I think they're going to do what?
Yes, McDonald hat trick.
I'm not predicting hat tricks because I've done that twice and both times, and I want to stay perfect with my predictions. So I'll say 1-0. Final game of the week: Chicago hosting Boston.
I have Chicago pulling out 1-0. I was just talking about how legit I think Boston is, but with that said, Chicago has that advantage at home. That's where they've been shining this season. I think it's going to be tough to beat them there, so I have Chicago pulling it out 1-0.
Yeah, I also have Chicago winning. But if Boston can go in there and if not get a result, at least play well and make Chicago work for it, then I'll be a little bit more convinced that they're legit. But I just don't think I don't think they have quite enough to break whatever Toyota Field hoodoo Chicago has. So I got the Red Stars taking that one, but I think it's probably going to be another low-scoring game because that's what seemed to happen at Toyota Park. Lots of low-scoring kind of snoozer games. All right. You have any final thoughts from this week or next week, or anything you want to get off your chest?
I feel like a lot happened this full week, but I can't remember any of it. I know you don't want to rehash Q. I will say if the rumor's true, she's playing for the Spirit. Good for them. If anything, for those poor Spirit fans, it's been 84 years since they've gotten good news, so I hope this one's true. The national team tournament out west, that happened, so cool, whatever. Houston will be without any goalkeepers, possibly, so that's rad, I guess. Nope. That's about it.
I feel like I'm going to be a broken record, but for the love of all that is holy, please, anybody who is a super fan girl of Ashlyn Harris, stop going postal anytime something bad happens to your girl. First of all, she's a big girl. She can take care of herself. Second of all, it doesn't make anybody change their mind. It just makes you look, shall we say, slightly crazy. I don't really like using that term, but it makes you look not quite all there. So, relax. It's soccer. These things happen. Erica Timrack did not murder Ali Krieger and Ashlyn Harris on her way to score.
She did. I talked to the ghost of Ali Krieger post game, and she was a ghost, but she's a very nice ghost. So nice.
But
so
yeah, again, if I see anything resembling some of the stuff that has been sent to Timrack, if something like this were to happen, and you start sending some weird threatening crap to whoever did X, Y, and Z to Ashlyn Harris, yeah, that's the kind of thing that can get what can get the authorities coming your way.
Gather around, children. Let an internet old tell you stories about the internet. I've been around for a while. And turns out what you say on the internet has real world repercussions. Weird, I know. But yeah, just be smart, calm down, get some tea, and relax. Because I guarantee you, they're over it.
Mm-hmm. And one more thing, please. This is the final thing. Please stop stalking the internet to find out what hotels players are staying at. Stop it. Leave them alone. That is what we call that. That is what we call stalking. And like sending threats to players, it has real world repercussions. Stop it. It's not healthy. It doesn't endear the players to their fans in any way. In fact, turn some of them off. Stop it. You are not entitled to that space. Leave them alone. All right.
See, wait, you should be like me. I muted most of WOSO Twitter, and my life is so happy now. I mean, except for all of you guys that are watching. You guys are all good. It's everyone else. Seriously, muting?
Yeah, there are a couple of people that I seriously wish I could mute, but I can't because of reasons. None of my OTP peeps, none of my backline soccer colleagues, none of y'all, but some other people that I have to keep an eye on that I can't mute. So anyway, hate to end that on a downer note. That has been another episode of Off the Post. Don't know when we'll be back next week, but we will be back next week to rehash round 5. Until then, bye.